Slender Man, a horrifying creation from the even more horrifying denizens of the internet. Though it was originally created on the Something Awful forums by Victor Surge in 2009, Slender Man really took off in 2012, thanks to the viral video game sensation Slender the 8 Pages. Designed as a shit-your-pants simulator. Yeah, this game isn't that great. It was mainly just a game you tricked your friends into playing. Like me. The 8 Pages eventually spawned a few more games from other creators, as well as an official one titled Slender the Arrival, which was kinda good, but pretty much everyone can agree that Slender Man was just a trend that phased out. Somebody forgot to tell Sony that before they spent $28 million on the film that released last year. I don't know why Sony even bothered making this film so late and for so much money. I'm sure they probably wanted to come out with this movie sooner, but the preteens in Wisconsin who stabbed their friend in the name of Slender Man probably didn't help. Since the movie only came out 4 years after the incident, some theaters in Wisconsin just refused to show it altogether. Not like they were missing much. Being a horror film, it is only natural that Sony would want to hire a director with experience in such a genre. So they hired Sylvian White, whose greatest contribution to horror was I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer. He also did Stomp the Yard, and boy, this movie is f***ed. So without further delay, let's witness the most anticipated movie of 2012, Slender Man. We open in the small town of Who Gives a Shit and are introduced to Hallie and Katie, who are doing what teenagers do best, looking up cat videos.
It'd be so much cuter if you were wearing little shoes. It'd be cuter if he exploded at the end.
What?
Did you know that pilgrims used to think sneezing meant you were expelling demons? What? That's why I never sneeze. I want to keep them all. No, it's in my soul. Your soul. If I had one.
Oh, it's that kind of movie. Next, we see that Hallie and Katie are walking with their 2 other friends, Chloe and Ren, having totally realistic high school conversations not written by a 40-year-old.
Oh, guys, the dude bros in the natural habitat. Let's observe, shall we?
So, what's the big secret?
I mean, I could tell you, but then I'd have to kill you.
How do you do, fellow kids?
What?
After that thrilling conversation with said dude bros, Hallie is having dinner with her family, including her sister Lizzie. And here we witness firsthand the most parental caring we're going to see in the entire movie.
I assume Ren is going to be at Katie's tonight?
Yeah, so?
So, what are you guys gonna do?
You know, drink a lot of vodka and meet guys online.
Funny.
Of course not. Why would you want to drink vodka and meet guys online when you can drink vodka and watch some POV porn with your gal pals? Seriously, is this a thing girls even do together? Don't answer that. The girls eventually get bored watching porn and decide to summon the Slender Man. How does one do this, you might ask? Very simple. Just click that link. Yeah, that makes sense. Are we watching The Ring? We're watching The Ring. Guess Hallie also lied about not meeting guys online because they met a guy online. The girls are disturbed by what they saw, but pretend like it was just nothing. This doesn't stop Hallie from having nightmares, though. Nightmares about horrible Snapchat filters. A week passes and their friends are on a field trip, and during that time, Katie sees something that chills her to the bone. Oh my god! It's a tree! Seriously, you have a cool opportunity to show the Slender Man in an appropriate setting. While most horror movie monsters are shown at night, it can be even more creepy seeing them in the day, especially in a public venue where you think you would be safe. Here the movie decides to pull some Terrence Malick bullshit and cuts to the next scene where Katie goes missing. We don't see her go anywhere, she's just missing in the next scene. I guess that kind of works though if you're trying to give the impression that she just disappeared. One minute she's there, the next minute she's gone. Don't worry, I'm not going to compliment this movie too much. Next, we see Hallie hanging out with her sister, all the while being very concerned about Katie's disappearance. Very concerned. All of a sudden, they hear a noise downstairs. Spoiler alert, it isn't Mom and Dad.
Hey, Mom? Dad?
You could try turning on a light. Just a thought. And that's what you get for not listening to my advice. Teenagers these days, man. Hallie books it up to her room and locks herself and Lizzie inside. After what we think is the Slender Man, it turns out it's just Katie's alcoholic father. Yeah, he just walked into the house without saying a word. He somehow figured out that Katie was involved with some occult stuff and demands Hallie tell him where she is.
Where is she?
No, don't, Hallie!
Where is my daughter? Where is she?
Let's go.
The police then show up and take him away. No thanks to the parents who finally appear even after all that ruckus. Where were they? At work? Fast asleep? Convincing their agents to get them out of this movie? The world may never know. Cutting back to school the next day, Ren is trying to convince the other two girls that Katie's disappearance has something to do with the Slender Man.
When we watched that video, it affected all of us. Something happened. I felt it.
I didn't see anything.
I didn't see anything either.
Didn't say I saw it.
Ho ho ho, you got me there, you got me there! Sure enough, the girls decide to take matters into their own hands and figure out what happened to Katie themselves. This involves going back to her house and what? Why is the dad back home? I'm no lawyer, but I'm pretty sure breaking and entering results in jail sentences of less than 1 year. It's only been 1 day. I guess 1 day is technically considered less than 1 year. You know what, I'm just gonna call this bad writing. Calling it now. While Ren distracts Katie's dad, Chloe and Hallie go into Katie's room, only to discover something shocking. It's a Dell laptop! In a Sony movie! Everyone's gotta have a Sony phone, a Sony television, but for some reason, every computer in this movie is a Dell. I'm sorry, I'm just so used to Sony product placement in their own movies, I can't believe they gave this one a pass. So they steal Katie's laptop to see what she's been researching.
What am I looking at?
Hey now, this whole movie's based on an outdated meme, don't get mad at me. Anyway, Katie has unsurprisingly been looking up more info on the Slender Man, leading to a bunch of videos of Slender Man encounters, such as this one, with the greatest child actor of all time.
Whoa, what is that?
I'm so scared.
Oh god, Judy's there. I can't see.
Oh! The girls then discover that Katie was messaging someone named AlleyCat93, talking about her experience with Slender Man, and she also filmed a video of her encounter. In selfie mode. Oh my god, guys, it's a UFO. I don't think anyone's ever been this close before. What you're witnessing is a monumental achievement in mankind. And it flew away. Bye-bye. Hope you guys liked it. Hit subscribe, smash that like button. Woo! Ren takes the laptop home with her and decides to ask AlleyCat93 how to break the curse and get Katie back. Apparently, they have to go into the woods and sacrifice something they care about deeply.
I made this in pottery class when I was 5.
This is a picture of me and my dad. It was taken a few months before he died.
My grandma made this when Lizzie was born.
These kids are gonna die. After they sacrifice their items, they have to do the Bird Box challenge to avoid looking at Slender Man's face.
Keep your blindfolds on.
Boy.
Chloe then decides that her life doesn't matter and takes off her blindfold, sees the Slender Man, and runs off, only to fall to the ground and see Slender Man. I gotta admit, the Slender Man design in this movie looks very faithful to the source material. Granted, when the design looks like this, it's pretty hard to f*** up. Next scene that plays out is a flashback with Katie, showing all the good times we had with her in the first 20 seconds of the movie. Then we cut to Hallie being a dick to her sister.
Hal?
Go away.
Are you okay?
I'm fine.
Go away! Read some books.
But we really got to check up on Chloe after her frightening encounter with the Slender Man. She decides to unwind with some music until the song skips to Skrillex. Oh, f*** off. Is Slender Man just a walking 4G hotspot, or did he connect to Chloe's Wi-Fi? Either way, this is stupid. I hate it! Slender Man is invisible, and all Chloe can see is the path leading to her bedroom. And because it is established that she is just full of dumb decisions, she opens the door to reveal no one is there. Slendy, could you do something scary? For once! Still waiting. After all that, Slender Man finally gets a hold of Chloe, but she looks in the mirror to reveal the true horror. It was herself the entire time! Still waiting for you to do something scary, Slender Man. Don't worry, take your time. You only got 40 minutes left before the credits roll. A few days pass and Chloe has been absent from school. A few days, huh? You would think that one or two of her good friends would go to her house and check up on her, but they're too busy getting asked out by dudes who have no concept of respecting a girl's boundaries when her best friend goes missing.
Yeah, sure.
You wanna come over tomorrow night? At my place?
Now's the time. The movie can make up for its mistake of not showing Slender Man earlier when Katie was looking at him. Oh God, I take it back. Just do the Terrence Malick shit again. I don't care. Oh, it's horrible. Oh. Holly agrees to go out with this teenage hunk named Tom, and then we cut to Ren doing more research of the Slender Man at the library. At first I thought, that's dumb, who goes to the library? Then I remembered that some faceless demon is after her and probably won't try and get her in a public place. You thought?
Are you deaf? Put that light out.
No, don't run. He just wants you to give him $20. And this right here is the best shot we're going to get of the Slender Man where he isn't made of horrendous CGI.
I'd like to take his face off.
My cabbages!
After that little episode, Ren meets up with Hallie to explain some bullshit that doesn't matter, and then they realize, oh hey, remember our good friend Chloe that we haven't been able to get a hold of for days? Maybe we should just go to her house and check up on her. So they finally decide to do that, only to discover that she has been lobotomized.
Chloe.
You're telling me that Chloe has just been walking around her house, completely brain dead, and no one said a word? Where's her mother? Her grandmother? Her parental guardian? Anyone? So, like the good friends they are, Hallie and Ren decide to just leave her there. That is truly a bond that cannot be broken. Even after all that, Hallie is still in straight denial and decides to go on that date with Tom, whose parents are out of town, just like all the other parents in the neighborhood.
Hey, come here.
Oh my God! You're kidding me! Someone actually animated this and somebody approved it thinking it was actually scary. Oh my God, dude, I can't believe this movie's real. The next morning, Hallie explains everything to Tom, and after that conversation, Tom thinks it would be a good idea to watch the video. Hallie convinces him not to, but he does it after she leaves. Tom is dead now, kids. At least I think so. This is the last scene we see him in. Later that night, Hallie tries to get a hold of AlleyCat93 to help her, but her account gets terminated. Then she hears a voice that sounds like Katie and begins to follow it.
Hallie.
Oh, could you turn a light on for the love of... Like the smart person she is, she follows the voice into the woods. Gee, I wonder who could be there, Slender Man. These dream sequences actually make quite a bit of sense. You see, Slender Man is a creature that gets inside your mind and... What the hell is this? She's pregnant? With Groot? Well, that was f***ing weird. Not scary, just weird. She wakes up from that weird dream to Lizzie having a panic attack. They take her to the hospital, and while they're there, this strange little segment happens. I'm sure they would totally leave the door open if they were giving someone a bath. Is that the Slender Man? Oh, thank God. It's just a dude with freakishly long arms. Phew! From this point, the movie decides once again to be unintentionally funny. Stop, dude. Just stop. You're making M. Night Shyamalan look like Christopher Nolan, for corn's sakes. After it's revealed that Lizzie saw the Slender Man, Hallie goes into her laptop to see what she's been doing. Turns out, it was Ren tricking her into finding the Slender Man all along. It certainly didn't help that she revealed herself in the video, but whatever, I don't understand any of this. Was Ren trying to prove a point to Hallie or something? I don't know. There's 10 minutes left of this movie, let's get through it. Hallie makes her way to Ren's house, which, surprise, no adults, and heads upstairs into her room. Also surprise, Ren's going cuckoo for Slendy Puffs and tries to kill herself.
You can't just give him something you love.
Oh, thank God. Don't worry, Samus. You're safe once again. Ren is soon taken by the Slender Man, and somehow Hallie comes to the revelation that in order to save her sister she's been treating like shit, she has to sacrifice herself. She then runs out into the woods to face the Slender Man. Bro, my Slender Man costume in high school was more convincing than this. $28 million. And for what? Give me $20, give me $20, give me $20. Hallie soon changes her mind about sacrificing herself and tries to run away. But that doesn't stop Slender Man from catching her and, get this, absorbing her into a tree. So by that logic, I guess Slender Man is Captain Planet. Somehow Hallie's sacrifice works and brings Lizzie back to normal. I think. And the moral of this story is to never browse the web without virus protection. This video brought to you by Avast and Malwarebytes, when you're too poor and too smart to buy Norton. Well, that was Slender Man, and somehow it was even worse than I expected. It's really hard to pinpoint who's at fault for this movie being so bad. Was it the director, the writer, the editor? Either way, it doesn't matter, because what Sony did with $28 million is not nearly half as good as what amateur filmmakers have done on YouTube. I'll admit, I haven't watched too many of the fan films that are on the web, but I think everyone agrees that Marble Hornets is the place to go for the ultimate Slender Man cinematic universe. Whether it be the web series on YouTube or the feature film adaptation where they got Doug Jones himself to play Slender Man. By the way, I interviewed him once. Super nice guy. He was the fish man in the Oscar-winning Shape of Water. What were we talking about again? In conclusion, the Slender Man movie is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. It's probably in the top 5 worst movies I've ever seen. Granted, I haven't made that list yet, and I don't watch that many terrible movies. But boy, this one was really bad. Like, my middle school self could have made a better script than what this person did. It was really, really bad. Thanks to this movie absolutely tanking critically, we're probably never ever gonna see another take on the Slender Man from a big budget Hollywood studio. And somehow I'm fine with that. Either way, I gotta go downstairs. I'll be right back. What was that noise?